Okay, well, I'm going to try this again. So, time of recording, several weeks back, a couple months back, I recorded a first look at this book, Dungeons and Drawings. And I've just recently actually sat down and read it, and I wanted to do a quick little review example of it because I think it's something fun that I think some folks might be interested in checking out. I think if you run any kind of fantasy tabletop RPG, this would be a cool little addition. And if you're not, if you just like bestiaries and mythical monsters and things like that, I think it would be a very readable thing. It is system neutral. It is not really. It doesn't require that you're even into tabletop RPGs, but it has some stuff for those who are interested. And what I mean by that, I just want to check my glare levels. Yeah. Is each entry has the drawing, the name, but then it has this section here, and it has basically these are its statistics, and it just has a 1 to 5 rating on combat, magic, smarts, loot, and danger. Adjust that to whatever game mechanic you might need. This gives you a general idea on the relative danger, the relative skills, or whatever that it has. And then it has these markings. And what those is alignment. This is like, yeah, good, neutral, or evil. An element that it might be connected to: air, water, earth, fire, and void. And then the type of creature. Is it a fairy? Is it a humanoid? Is it undead? And then here we have your combat, your combat, magic, smarts, loot, danger. So, and this gives you a little guide of what that might mean. So this gives you whatever you might want to do to give it stats for an RPG, but that's not something that you necessarily need to worry about. It's there if you need it. And so then you have each entry has a general description of the creature, an adventurer's tip. So this is something that you could feed your player as a secret so that they have a better handle if they run into one of these things, or somebody might tell them a story. It depends on what the adventurer's tip is, but it gives them something in order to react or interact better with it. And then there's a contextual paragraph, and this will tell you, it'll explain you like where the story comes from, or do multiple cultures have very similar ideas? Each one of these is a little different, but they're pretty helpful. Let's see, this adventurer's tip. A centaur short bow is comparable in size and range to a human longbow. One shudders to think at the deadly distances a centaur's longbow could reach. Oh, okay. And it's, yeah, Greek mythological creature. This is your context. The children of the god Centaurus and wild mares. They are typically depicted as male, drunken, and rapacious. Female centaurs, centaurides, if I were centaurides, I don't know how to pronounce that, are mentioned but rare. Chiron, wiser and more sober than his fellows, was the teacher of many Greek heroes and was transformed in the constellation of Centaurus, or Sagittarius, when he died. Similar-looking creatures include the Nukalavi, an evil sea spirit, a horse with a human torso growing out of its back, both flayed, good lord, and the Bestiary, a Brazilian version of the devil. So that's pretty cool. So those are your little like context things, and each entry has those. Now, I wanted to just, because I thought it'd be interesting, I wanted to point out a few of my favorites. I'm going to do another quick glare check because we've got a lot of dark color on that. Not too bad. I really like part of I would say the star of this is the art. I think obviously, the write-ups are cool, but I think the art is really cool. And so I love this very weird take on a doppelganger. I like the idea of a doppelganger being a sort of alien entity as much as anything else. You know, extra dimensional or whatever your appropriate thing for your setting might be. Um, let's say, like, so the adventure tip: don't speak to it, don't look at it, don't emote near it. Put your affairs in order. Because it talks about how the it can sort of read surface thoughts and learn to mimic you by doing that. So just being around it and thinking too much, it'll start to learn how to behave like you when it takes your shape. The word doppelganger or double walker first appears in the 18th century German novel uh, so Sibankus. That's probably wrong. Sibankus. I can't, speak German. I can barely speak English. But the concept of the spirit double is much more ancient. More often than not, it appears as an ill omen, a premonition of someone's death. In real life, a look-alike with no blood relation is possible, but unlikely and eerie. Celebrity lookalikes can find careers as impersonators, and there are websites that allow you to search for your own double. There are, as of yet, no reports of one usurping the other's life. So that's just, each one has a thing, not and the context paragraphs can be vary quite a bit in difference. But then this is just your kind of general explanation. And what I like is that the creatures come out of traditional sources. They come out of like fairy tales or old mythology or what have you. But then they also come out of literature and tabletop RPGs. There's definitely some straight up, like, there's one of the things in here is very much like the gelatinous cube from D&D. I wanted to point out particularly the ghost because I love this art. I think this was the piece that kind of sold me on picking this book up. But I love that the ghost, one, I love that it looks so confused and sad, but I also love the archaic things appearing around it. I just, this incarnation of a ghost seems so mystical and strange, as though it is more the residue of a person than like their individual spirit. I like that it's not a visible person you can recognize. I like that it is just this phantom, this sort of dread, sad phantom, and there's obviously something spooky going on around it. I like that. I also love this one, the Hellhound, because it's both adorable and terrifying and disgusting, and such a weird twist on it. Like, you think Hellhound, you just think dog with like fire coming out of its mouth, but look at this thing. It's a head body with green fire and a septum ring mace. Okay, I love it. It's just so weird, and I think just such a great take. Same sort of with the Manticore. I just really love this. I mean, there's a traditional mythological monster, and yet just the simple thing of putting in the single eye, I think, gives it a wonderful character. What else did I have in here? The Mummy, same kind of general thought I had with the Ghost, where it's just such a strange take on it. The Mask, which I think is a great idea. I love the idea of just using masks anyway, especially for arcane critters. And then the Ogre, which is just grotesque and marvelous. And this one kind of, looks at the ogre as being also synonymous with a hill giant, which I think is kind of interesting. So anyway, I wanted to show a few of these. I thought this would make a cool, I think some of these would make just cool alternate versions, and primarily in the way they're realized visually. But I think the adventurers tips is a great thing to have. Like an NPC can drop an adventurer's tip on a character at some point, or it's just something they can read in passing in a book. I think it's a great thing to have these little doodads, little world building secrets passed around. But then I think the visualization, I think it's just such a neat take on these that I want to use these as kind of alternate versions. So if I'm running, say, Shadow Dark, and I have a mummy, maybe I want to look at the mummy and describe it more like this before, instead of just a lumbering guy, thump, thump, thump. Instead, it could be like a hissing drag as whatever is dragging behind it. Like, what is this thing? I kind of love how very strange it is. And oh yeah, red caps. I mean, so nasty. Fairies are so nasty anyway. But anyhow, I think it's really cool, and I think that if you're into this kind of thing, I think one, if you like the art, but also if you are looking for alternate versions of some monsters for your games, I think this could be a really fun little addition to your library. As mentioned in the video, I got it super cheap, but I don't think it would be at all a ripoff for the original price of only $19.99. So that's US dollars. But anyhow, uh, yeah, I thought I'd do a follow up and a little review on this because I just really enjoyed it. So until next time, take care.